The next series of pictures shows the wiring of the 1300 controller into my Skutt Kiln. This picture shows my kiln before any modifications. The two temperature controls are still attached. Here's the top one and the bottom one. They will be removed as the 1300 controller will adjust the temperature. Here the temperature controls have been removed. Power from the Kiln Sitter switch now goes directly to the elements as shown in the final wiring picture. Here's my metal box for the 1300. It cannot be solid metal as the Wi-Fi signal from the 1300 needs to travel to a computer to work. The 1300 does not have an external Wi-Fi antenna capability. This box is the smallest I could find to hold all the components. It is 7 by 7 by 4 inches deep. The computer components are sensitive to heat. Ceramic spacers were used to create an air passage between the kiln and the 1300 of 1 inch. Here's one spacer and there's the other. The temperature within the box was measured at just over 30 degrees centigrade while the kiln was at its hottest. This is acceptable. At the bottom of the box is a switch to turn the power on to the 1300. Here are the components mounted in the box. At the bottom left is a black 120 volt wire to the 1300. Above it is the power switch shown in the previous picture. Behind this wire is a yellow wire that goes to the thermocouple in the kiln. You can just see it connected there, and there it goes out and over to the kiln. Between these two wires are the red and black wires that go to the bottom solid state relay or SSR. So here's the black wire and the red wire. Two more red and black wires go in parallel to the top SSR. It's the black wire and the red wire. Each SSR has its heat sink to help dissipate the heat when they are in operation. One heat sink there, one heat sink here. The two large black wires connected to the two SSRs are the 220 powered directly from the 220 plug. So the wires come through the conduit and the second black wire comes from there. The two large white wires are connected to the two SSRs are the power that goes to the kiln when the 1300 turns the SSRs on. So when this switch is completed, the power goes back to the kiln. The 1300 box is connected to the Kiln Sitter with a metal conduit holding the 220 power to and from the 1300. The yellow thermocouple wire is shown connected to the thermocouple of the kiln. Another wire in parallel goes to the pyrometer so temperature can be monitored without the 1300. Here is the thermocouple sensor on the left and the Kiln Sitter cone holder on the right. This is the pyrometer. Not necessary, but I find it useful especially to check and see if the kiln is cool enough to open without cracking in pottery. So this is the top section of the Kiln Sitter. In the bottom left, the picture, you can see the plug which is used to connect the top elements to the Kiln Sitter switch. Power from the Kiln Sitter in the lower section comes up along the two silver wires once this is plugged in. And connects to the two Kiln Sitter elements connected in series. Through here, through the element, to the next element below, and then back. If you wanted to, the top section of the Kiln Sitter has enough room so that it could also be used to house the 1300 if the solid metal housing was removed or changed to a perforated metal to allow the Wi-Fi signal passage. The bottom section of the kiln sitter also sends power to the two lower kiln elements, which are connected together in series. So the bottom section sends the power to the kiln element and then connects to the next top kiln element and then back to the sitter. The bottom section of the kiln sitter is where all the main wire connections are made. The bottom left has the 220 power coming in from the plug to the terminal block. So it comes in here to the terminal block, which connects to the input of the SSRs in the 1300 controller. Back through there. The white wires have the 220 output from the SSRs to the kiln sitter switch. So they come back and they're connected to the kiln sitter switch. If you did not want to use the kiln sitter, you could simply connect these two white wires to the top of the switch instead of the bottom, thereby bypassing the switch. So instead of connecting them here, they would connect directly to the wires going to the elements. The wiring here is shown using the switch. When the switch is on and the power output from the SSRs is on, power goes to the kiln elements via the 4 silver wires. So the 2 silver wires here go to the top box and the top elements. These 2 silver wires go to the bottom elements. There are 2 wires that go to the light on the side of the kiln, and 2 black wires that are connected to the timer. I hope that shows you how the wiring diagrams and the mock-up are actually connected to the kiln and helps you do the wiring in your own kiln.